Hello everybody. I don't relish making this video because it's not something I really want to talk about in public, but I've come to the point where it's the only way that I can actually defend myself effectively before this comes to lawyers and the like. So today we're going to be talking about some evidence that I got today about how Heart of Worcestershire College cover up the human rights abuse of autistic people. Now, this won't be about the actual abuse itself. That took place a little over 10 years ago. I have some fairly convincing evidence that they robbed me of an education, and they've probably done it to other people. But this is about how, when you raise this kind of complaint, how they enter an open conspiracy to degrade you into giving up any kind of agency you would have in that complaint. So the first thing that they will do is they will engage with you in an email, and things will be looking like they're being quite polite, but in private they're sending emails to each other to initiate a conspiracy of silence against you, where they are telling everybody in their organisation not to make any kind of contact with you, and they are already they already made up their minds that they're not going to investigate the complaint properly, but to you they're presenting something that's very, very different. And then the second thing that they will do is that they will make absolutely no attempt at making any kind of fact-finding whatsoever. In my Freedom of Information requests, the only point at which they attempted at all to produce anything factual was simply to verify that I had attended the college. No fact finding further than that. Thirdly, the most shocking here, I think, on this list is they initiated an open conspiracy where they talk between themselves and their lawyers about how to keep the truth about what was happening and the account from their own governors, which I will just put up on screen for you. And that's particularly shocking to me because the reason that colleges and schools and the like have governors is so that when there's major complaints or there's major decisions to be made, people have access to them. So if there are conspiracies there to keep things from their own governors, this shows the corrupt nature of the system we're dealing with. Next is the way that they are attempting to keep this from their governors. Now, the way I initiated this was to make a Freedom of Information request for the emails of the governors. So that leads me to conclude that the only way that they could be feasibly keeping this information from their governors is if their email system contains in it a filtration system, so that when somebody sends an email to one of the addresses that are provided if you fill out a Freedom of Information request form or phone them up and request one of these email addresses, you are given email addresses that do not actually connect to anybody, or at the very least they can turn your connection to those people off. So and they appear to do this in the first instance, to deliberately obfuscate the nature of the accusations from their staff. Next, they create a false paper trail within these documents and internal emails, where they in fact lie about what they have said to you. And there is a lie here, and I'm just going to play you a recording now of this person contradicting completely what they said about the offer of a meeting to me.
Hello, this is Mrs. Leo. This is Kate calling from Heart of Worcestershire College. Just concerning the meeting that you've requested with governors, I'm just seeing if you would prefer a face-to-face meeting or if a Teams meeting would also be acceptable to you. We do have, obviously, governors' time. They do work in the day, so it's more than likely it needs to be of an evening. And they are actually quite busy at the moment, but I will obviously try and schedule this in as soon as I can for you. Just wondered if you had a preference on face-to-face or whether we could do it online.
yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? So then what they will do is they will strategically block themselves from any kind of receiving any kind of information, so that they don't have to investigate. And now, just lastly, as this is going to be sent to you, Heart of Worcestershire College, you can tell your lawyers that the reason that it has taken me more than 10 years to bring up this complaint is because in the last few months is the only time I've been able to get any significant new evidence about it, and it's precisely because of dodgy conspiracies like this that I have not been able to progress, because, you know, if people are not prepared to act properly, then there's nothing really you can do about that without looking like a crazy person. Please bear in mind that in 2010 to 2012 we did not have tools such as a Freedom of Information Act request or GDPR requests. Ease of access to those has come much later. So yeah, the way you conduct yourselves is a disgrace, and you should all be ashamed of yourselves.